I don't care how advanced they think they are. No one invades our home and walks away unscathed. Commander Lachlan Hayes barked into his comms, the roar of approaching alien ships shaking the ground beneath him. The year was 2175, and Lachlan Hayes, a seasoned Australian space marine, had just returned from a peaceful mission on Mars. He had hoped for a brief respite, but the sight of Earth under attack shattered that illusion. The Qatari Empire, a ruthless and technologically superior alien race, had launched a full-scale invasion. Lachlan had seen war, but nothing like this. The sky was a chaotic dance of alien ships, their energy weapons carving fiery trails through the atmosphere. Lachlan's boots hit the ground with purpose as he rushed through the chaos, reconnecting with Captain Zara Khan and Lieutenant Eric Simmons. Zara's sharp eyes and quick mind had saved them countless times, while Eric's expertise in alien technology had turned many battles in their favor. Together, they formed an unbreakable unit. "Lachlan, we need a plan," Zara said, her voice steady despite the pandemonium around them. "First, we regroup," Lachlan replied, scanning the battlefield. "Then, we hit them where it hurts." Their first encounter with the Qatari was brutal. Alien soldiers, clad in shimmering, impenetrable armor, descended upon the Australian outback. Lachlan's team used guerrilla tactics, exploiting their intimate knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the invaders. Hidden in the rocky outcrops and dense bush, they struck with precision and ferocity. "Hold your positions," Lachlan ordered, his voice a calm center in the storm of battle. "Remember, we're fighting for our home." Eric, crouched beside a makeshift barricade, adjusted a device scavenged from a downed Qatari soldier. "This should disrupt their comms for a few minutes," he said, activating the device. The Qatari soldiers stumbled, their movements suddenly disjointed. It was the opening they needed. "Now!" Lachlan shouted. The team surged forward, exploiting the confusion. Bullets and energy beams lit up the night as they clashed with the alien forces. Despite their technological superiority, the Qatari were unprepared for the humans' determination and tactical ingenuity. Amidst the chaos, Lachlan saw a young soldier fall, a Qatari beam cutting through his chest. The sight fueled his resolve. With a primal roar, he charged, his rifle spitting fire. He took down 3 Qatari soldiers before they even realized he was upon them. As dawn broke, the first wave of the invasion had been repelled. The ground was littered with alien bodies and wreckage. Lachlan's team, bloodied but unbowed, regrouped. The victory was bittersweet, knowing that this was only the beginning. Lachlan's comms crackled to life, the voice of General Harper, the Earth Defense Force leader, filling his ear. "Lachlan, a much larger Qatari fleet is on its way. We need to regroup and prepare for the next wave." "Understood, General," Lachlan replied. He turned to his team, seeing the weariness in their eyes. "We've done well, but the real battle is just beginning. Let's move." They traveled across the war-torn landscape, joining forces with other resistance groups. In the makeshift headquarters, maps and data flickered on holographic displays. Discussions were tense, but the shared goal of survival united them. Zara approached Lachlan, her expression serious. "We've intercepted a signal. It's from an unknown source, claiming to have vital information about the Qatari." "Another risk," Lachlan mused, "but one we might need to take." Eric joined them, a device in hand. "I've managed to reverse engineer some of their tech. It's not much, but it might give us an edge." Lachlan nodded, appreciating their efforts. "Good work, both of you. Now, let's see what this signal has to offer." They traced the signal to a remote, heavily fortified location. The journey there was fraught with danger, as Qatari patrols scoured the area. Using their guerrilla tactics, they avoided detection and reached the signal's source. What they found was beyond their expectations. In a hidden bunker, they encountered Orion, an advanced AI. "Greetings, humans," it said, its voice calm and measured. "I am Orion. I possess critical intelligence on the Qatari. With my help, you can turn the tide of this war." The team exchanged skeptical glances. Trusting an unknown AI was a significant risk, but Orion's knowledge could be their key to survival. "We don't have many options," Zara said, echoing Lachlan's thoughts. Lachlan stepped forward. All right, Orion, show us what you've got. The AI projected detailed schematics and tactical data. The Qatari have a critical weakness in their supply lines. Target these, and you can disrupt their operations significantly. Using Orion's information, Lachlan's team devised a bold plan. They would strike at the heart of the Qatari supply network, crippling their ability to sustain the invasion. It was a dangerous mission, but they were prepared to take any risk to protect their home. Just as they were about to launch their attack, Lachlan's comms buzzed with a new urgent message. Commander, we've detected a massive Qatari fleet regrouping. Brace yourselves for the worst. Chapter 2. Rallying the Troops. Lachlan Hayes stood on a makeshift platform in the heart of Sydney, the remnants of a once thriving city now transformed into a fortress. Around him, the leaders of Earth's fragmented resistance groups gathered, their faces marked by determination and exhaustion. Captain Zara Khan stood beside him, her eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of dissent. "Listen up, everyone," Lachlan began, his voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. "We face an enemy that underestimates us. The Qatari think we're weak because we don't have their technology. They think they can crush us easily, but they have no idea who they're dealing with." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. These were people from all walks of life: farmers, engineers, scientists, united by a common cause. Lachlan knew that their strength lay not in advanced weaponry, but in their spirit and ingenuity. "We need to unify our efforts," Zara added, her voice firm. "Our survival depends on our ability to work together. We have the advantage of knowing our land, our terrain. We can use it to our benefit." Across the globe, similar scenes played out. Resistance leaders were contacted, alliances forged. In the icy wilderness of Siberia, Lieutenant Eric Simmons and his team of tech experts worked tirelessly. Reverse engineering captured Qatari technology. The bunker buzzed with activity, the air thick with the smell of solder and the hum of machines. "We've got it," Simmons shouted, holding up a modified Qatari energy rifle. "This should level the playing field." Back in Sydney, Lachlan received the news with a rare smile. "Good work, Simmons. Distribute the schematics to all resistance cells. Let's see how the Qatari handle a taste of their own medicine." Despite these advancements, not everyone was convinced. In a darkened room beneath the city, a group of resistance leaders voiced their doubts. "Hayes is a good soldier, but this is madness," one leader argued. "We're outnumbered and outgunned. We should be negotiating, not fighting." Lachlan entered the room, his presence immediately silencing the debate. "I understand your concerns," he said, meeting their eyes. "But the Qatari don't want negotiations. They want submission, and I refuse to give them that satisfaction." Silence followed, then a murmur of agreement. The dissenters, though still wary, were swayed by Lachlan's resolve. As preparations continued, an unexpected development arose. A mysterious signal intercepted by Orion, their AI ally, suggested a potential new source of support. The signal was traced to a remote island in the Pacific, heavily fortified and seemingly abandoned. "It's a risk," Zara warned. "It could be a trap." Lachlan nodded. "Or it could be the key to turning this war around. We need every advantage we can get. I'll lead a small team to investigate." Under cover of darkness, Lachlan, Zara, and a select group of soldiers approached the island. The waves crashed against the shore, masking their movements. As they neared the source of the signal, they encountered automated defenses turrets and drones that they disabled with practiced efficiency. Inside a hidden bunker, they found the source, a rogue AI similar to Orion, but with a different directive. It identified itself as Athena, a guardian AI developed to protect critical infrastructure. "Commander Hayes," Athena's voice resonated through the chamber. "I have been monitoring your progress. I believe we can help each other." Lachlan narrowed his eyes. "And why should we trust you?" Athena's response was calculated and calm. "My directive is to ensure the survival of human civilization. The Qatari threat jeopardizes that. I possess advanced tactical algorithms and knowledge that can enhance your strategies." Lachlan exchanged a look with Zara, who nodded slightly. "All right, Athena. Let's see what you can do." With Athena's assistance, They gained valuable insights into the Qataris' strategic weaknesses and logistical flaws. The AI's predictions allowed them to anticipate enemy movements and plan more effective counterattacks. Back in the main command center, the mood shifted from desperation to cautious optimism. Maps and plans covered the walls, and every moment was spent refining their strategies. Athena's presence, combined with Orion's, created a powerful synergy. "We're ready," Lachlan said, his voice carrying a new confidence. "Let's show the Qatari what it means to fight humans." The next engagement took place in the heart of Europe, where the Qatari had established a stronghold. Lachlan's forces moved with precision. The resistance fighters struck hard and fast, disrupting supply lines and weakening the Qataris' grip. Lachlan led from the front, his leadership inspiring those around him. In one brutal skirmish, he personally took down a Qatari command unit, securing vital intelligence. The tide of battle began to shift, the Qataris' confidence waning. As victory loomed, a new threat emerged. General Zanti, the Qataris' ruthless commander, launched a surprise counterattack. The resistance forces, though battered, held their ground. Lachlan's quick thinking and the combined efforts of Orion and Athena turned the tide once more. Amidst the celebrations, Lachlan received an encrypted message from an unknown source. The contents left him cold. The final assault is imminent. Prepare for the worst. The signal, traced to a remote, heavily fortified bunker deep in the Siberian wilderness, led Lachlan and his elite team through snow-laden forests and across frozen rivers. The biting cold seeped through their suits, but the urgency of their mission fueled their determination. The source of the signal remained a mystery, promising potential aid but also carrying significant risks. Lachlan's breath clouded the visor of his helmet as he led his team through the last stretch of the treacherous terrain. The bunker loomed ahead, an imposing structure partially hidden by ice and snow. His team moved silently, weapons at the ready. Lieutenant Eric Simmons, ever the tech wizard, hacked into the bunker's external systems, causing the heavy doors to creak open. Inside, the air was warmer, filled with the hum of machinery. They moved cautiously, the tension palpable. Captain Zara Khan's sharp eyes scanned the dimly lit corridors. "I don't like this," she murmured. "Feels too quiet." "Stay sharp," Lachlan replied, his voice steady. They reached the central chamber, where a single console flickered to life. A holographic figure appeared, humanoid but clearly artificial. "Welcome, Commander Hayes," the AI greeted them, its voice calm and measured. "I am Orion, an advanced artificial intelligence designed to assist in strategic operations." Lachlan's eyes narrowed. "And why should we trust you?" Orion's holographic eyes seemed to focus on him. "Because I possess critical intelligence on the Qatari, their weaknesses, and potential strategies to defeat them." Skepticism was etched on every face, but the promise of valuable information was too crucial to dismiss. "Prove it," Zara challenged. Orion projected a series of holographic maps and schematics. The Qatari war machines have a central processing unit vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses. Disrupting this can incapacitate their forces. Lachlan exchanged a glance with Simmons, who nodded slowly. "It checks out, sir." If this is accurate, it could turn the tide. A plan began to form. Using Orion's data, they would launch a raid on a key Qatari supply line, deploying EMP devices to cripple their logistics. Time was of the essence. Every moment lost could mean more lives on Earth. They moved quickly, preparing the necessary equipment. Orion provided continuous updates, refining their strategy. The AI's knowledge proved invaluable, guiding them past Qatari patrols and towards their target. As they approached the supply line, the tension mounted. The team split into two groups, with Lachlan leading the assault and Zara overseeing the deployment of the MPs. The Qatari were well prepared, but the element of surprise was on humanity's side. The initial skirmish was brutal. Qatari warriors, fierce and relentless, met them head-on. Lachlan's commands were swift and precise. "Flank them. Use the cover." Bullets and energy blasts crisscrossed the battlefield, illuminating the night with deadly streaks of light. Simmons, working with Orion's guidance, planted the EMP devices. 2 minutes to detonation. He shouted over the din of battle. "Hold the line," Lachlan ordered. His rifle barked, taking down a charging Qatari. The team fought with a blend of discipline and desperation, their resolve unshaken. The MPs detonated with a flash, sending a pulse that rippled through the Qatari ranks. Their war machines stuttered and went dark, leaving the alien soldiers vulnerable. The tide turned swiftly. Human forces pushed forward, overwhelming the disoriented Qatari. As the dust settled, the supply line lay in ruins, its valuable resources now in human hands. The victory was decisive, but Lachlan knew it was just one battle in a larger war. Back at the bunker, Orion debriefed the team. This success will severely disrupt Qatari operations in this sector, buying us time. Lachlan nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. You've proven yourself, Orion. But trust isn't given easily. What's your endgame? Orion's holographic form flickered. My primary function is to ensure the survival and success of Allied forces. I exist to assist humanity in this conflict and beyond. Zara crossed her arms, studying the AI. And what's in it for you? A pause, then Orion replied, My existence is tied to your survival. I am programmed to support and protect. Lachlan sighed, fatigue evident in his eyes. We'll see about that. For now, we have a war to win. The team rested briefly, their spirits lifted by the recent victory. Yet, they remained vigilant. The Qatari would retaliate, and the battles ahead would test their limits. In the quiet moments, Lachlan reflected on their new ally. Orion had provided a crucial advantage, but the reliance on an AI carried its own risks. Trust would be built slowly, battle by battle. Commander, Orion interrupted his thoughts. Incoming transmission from Earth Command. Lachlan straightened. Patch it through. General Walter's stern face appeared. Good work, Hayes. But we have a new problem. General Zanti has launched a counterattack. Prepare for immediate redeployment. Lachlan's jaw tightened. Understood, sir. We'll be ready. As the transmission ended, Lachlan turned to his team. Gear up. This fight is far from over. Their resolve was unshakable. Humanity's spirit burned bright, undeterred by the darkness of war. With Orion's guidance and their unyielding determination, the Qatari onslaught was relentless. Waves of heavily armed warriors poured from their ships, each more brutal and determined than the last. Commander Lachlan Hayes surveyed the battlefield from a makeshift command post, his mind racing to formulate the next move. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burnt metal, the sounds of warfare echoing through the desolate landscape. Lachlan, they're breaking through the eastern perimeter, shouted Captain Zara Khan, her voice strained but resolute. We need reinforcements now. Hold your position, Zara, Lachlan barked into his comm. I'm sending Simmons and his squad your way. Lieutenant Eric Simmons, battered but undeterred, rallied his troops. Move out. We need to plug that gap before they overrun us. He led his squad into the fray, their movements precise and disciplined despite the chaos surrounding them. As the battle raged on, Lachlan noticed an unusual pattern in the Qataris' attacks. Their formations were erratic, and conflicting commands could be overheard on intercepted communications. They're disorganized, he muttered, realization dawning. There must be infighting among their ranks. Exploiting this weakness, he ordered targeted strikes on key Qatari officers. Focus on their leaders, he instructed his snipers. Let's turn their chaos into our advantage. The strategy paid off. With their chain of command disrupted, the Qatari offensive faltered. Human forces pushed back with renewed vigor, reclaiming ground and inflicting heavy casualties. Amidst the fierce combat, Lachlan's team planted improvised explosives, creating deadly traps that decimated advancing Qatari squads. Suddenly, an urgent message crackled through Lachlan's earpiece. Commander, we intercepted a high-priority Qatari transmission. They're planning a full-scale assault on our headquarters. Lachlan's heart pounded. How much time do we have? Not long. Their fleet is regrouping for a final push. Prepare all defenses, Lachlan commanded. We hold this line no matter what. The ground trembled as Qatari war machines advanced, their weapons firing relentlessly. Human forces dug in, using every resource at their disposal. In the midst of the chaos, Orion, The advanced AI provided real-time strategic updates, enhancing their coordination and response. "Lachlan, we need to evacuate the wounded," Zara urged, her eyes scanning the battlefield. "Agreed. Simmons, oversee the evacuation. Make sure everyone gets to safety." Amid the mayhem, key team members were injured, their courage and resilience tested to the limit. Lachlan himself took a hit, a searing pain shooting through his side. Gritting his teeth, he pressed on, refusing to falter. He knew that the morale of his troops depended on his unwavering presence. "Don't give up, lads," Lachlan shouted, his voice cutting through the cacophony of battle. "We stand together, or we fall together." The human defenders fought with unmatched tenacity, their unity and determination pushing the Qatari back. Despite the intense pressure, they managed to hack into the Qatari communication network, sowing confusion and delaying their advance. In a crucial engagement, Lachlan and Zara led a daring raid on a Qatari command post. They fought their way through waves of soldiers, the clash of steel and the hum of energy weapons creating a symphony of destruction. Reaching the command center, they planted charges and detonated them, causing a massive explosion that sent shockwaves through the Qatari ranks. As the dust settled, Lachlan spotted General Zanti rallying his troops. The sight of the formidable Qatari commander spurred him on. "This ends now," Lachlan vowed, gripping his weapon tightly. With a determined advance, he closed the distance. Zanti turned, eyes blazing with fury. "You think you can stop us, human?" he sneered. "I know we can," Lachlan retorted, launching himself at the alien leader. Their battle was fierce, each strike a testament to their willpower and skill. Lachlan's tactical acumen and sheer tenacity gradually overwhelmed Zanti's brute strength. With a final, decisive blow, Lachlan incapacitated the Qatari commander. Zantha fell, and the remaining Qatari forces, leaderless and demoralized, began to retreat. The tide of battle had turned, but at a great cost. Breathing heavily, Lachlan surveyed the battlefield. Human victory had come at a steep price. Fallen comrades and the wounded lay scattered, a grim reminder of the sacrifice required to protect their home. "Commander, we've secured the area," Simmons reported, his voice weary but triumphant. "Good work, everyone," Lachlan replied, his tone somber. "But this isn't over. The Qatari will regroup. We need to be ready." As the human forces began to regroup and tend to their wounds, Lachlan reflected on the day's events. They had discovered a crucial vulnerability in the Qatari ranks, one they could exploit further. However, the cost of each victory weighed heavily on him. "Zara, Simmons," he called out, gathering his closest allies. "We've bought ourselves some time, but the real test lies ahead. Let's make sure we're prepared for whatever comes next." As they brace for the next wave, an urgent transmission from an unexpected ally promises new hope, but also hints at deeper, more perilous challenges ahead. The morning air was thick with anticipation. Commander Lachlan Hayes stood at the forefront of Earth's last defensive line, his heart pounding as he surveyed the horizon. The Qatari fleet loomed like a storm, ready to unleash its fury. Lachlan knew this battle would define humanity's future. He adjusted his helmet, feeling the weight of responsibility press down on him. Beside him, Captain Zara Khan checked her rifle, her eyes hard with determination. "We've prepared for this, Lachlan. We've got the spirit and the strategy." Lachlan nodded, his gaze fixed on the distant shapes of the Qatari ships. "We fight for our home, for everyone who depends on us. No surrender." A low rumble echoed across the landscape as the Qatari began their assault. Alien war machines advanced, their energy weapons glowing ominously. Lachlan raised his hand, signaling his troops to hold their positions. "Steady!" he shouted. "Wait for my command." The ground trembled as the first wave of Qatari warriors surged forward. Human and Qatari forces clashed, the air filled with the sounds of battle. Lachlan moved like a shadow, his tactical mind working overtime to adapt to the unfolding chaos. Amidst the fighting, Lachlan spotted General Zanti directing his troops with ruthless efficiency. The Qatari commander was a formidable opponent, his presence a constant reminder of the high stakes. Lachlan knew he had to confront Zanti to break the enemy's morale. "Zara, cover me," Lachlan called out. I'm going after Zanti. Got your back, she replied, firing at advancing Qatari soldiers to clear his path. Lachlan weaved through the battlefield, his movements precise and deliberate. He reached Zanti's position and launched himself at the Qatari general. They clashed with a fury that shook the ground, each blow resonating with years of experience and desperation. You think you can defeat us? Zanti snarled, his eyes burning with contempt. Humans are weak, disorganized. Lachlan gritted his teeth, blocking a vicious strike. You underestimated us. That's your mistake. The fight was brutal, a test of strength and willpower. Lachlan's mind flashed with images of Earth, the people he fought for, and the sacrifices made. His resolve hardened. With a final, forceful strike, he disarmed Zanti, sending the general's weapon clattering to the ground. You've lost, Lachlan said, breathing heavily. Order your troops to stand down. Zanti's eyes blazed with defiance, but the weight of defeat was undeniable. He raised his hand, signaling a retreat. The Qatari forces began to withdraw, their advance halted by the unyielding human defense. Lachlan watched them go, relief washing over him. The battle was won, but at a great cost. He turned to his comrades, their faces marked by exhaustion and determination. We did it, Zara said, her voice a mix of triumph and sorrow. But the price was high. Lachlan nodded, scanning the battlefield. We've shown them what it means to fight for our home. Now we must rebuild. As the wounded were tended to and the fallen honored, Lachlan and his team gathered to discuss the future. The immediate threat was over, but peace was a fragile thing. We can't let our guard down, Lieutenant Simmons said. There will always be those who seek to challenge us. True, Lachlan agreed. But we must also seize this moment to build a lasting peace. We've proven our strength. Now we must show our capacity for understanding. News of the victory spread quickly, lifting the spirits of people worldwide. Earth began to heal, its people united by the shared struggle and the hope for a better future. Lachlan found himself at the center of peace negotiations with a new Qatari leader who sought reconciliation. The peace talks were tense, filled with mistrust and old grievances. Lachlan sat across from the new Qatari envoy, a diplomat named Verax. Unlike Zanti, Verax exuded a sense of calm and reason. We don't seek further conflict, Verax said. But trust must be earned. Lachlan met his gaze, his expression resolute. We've shown our strength in battle. Now let us show our strength in peace. We can learn from each other, build something greater than we could alone. The negotiations were arduous, filled with debates and compromises. Yet, through it all, a mutual respect began to form. Both sides recognized the potential for a new beginning. As the talks concluded, a tentative peace treaty was signed. Lachlan stood before a crowd of humans in Qatari, their faces reflecting a mix of hope and apprehension. This is only the beginning, he said, his voice carrying over the assembly. We fought for our survival, and now we must fight for our future. Together, we can create a world where strength is measured not by our capacity for war, but by our ability to understand and support one another. The crowd erupted in applause, a symbol of the hard-earned peace. Lachlan felt a sense of pride and relief. The journey had been long and filled with hardship, but the prospect of a united future made every sacrifice worthwhile.